The student refugee program must have dedicated local committee members that are willing to support students from refugee camps. In order to sustain local committees, new volunteers must be trained. There are two main components to training: communication and the structure of your local committee. Local committees come in all shapes and sizes. The minimum amount of people in a local committee is 5. Usually, each person has a clear responsibility that's outlined in a role they've agreed to take on. Large committees, which can be more than 7 people, can be divided into subcommittees. Sometimes, a small local committee can join a larger human rights umbrella group already established on their campus, where they can draw on wider membership and the resources to assist in campaigns and training.
Our local committee has about 12 people on it.
We are about 7 to 8 people. We just selected the roles. We divided up into different parts, like
2 co-presidents, and then we have what we call campaign managers. So there is a campaign manager for SRP,
SRP coordinator,
small subcommittee kind of thing for SRP, where we have 2 people working on SRP stuff, helping out the refugee, like the sponsor student, and taking care of his finances and everything to do with SRP.
We have a campaign manager for fair trade, and then there's also campaign managers for things like Shine a Light and any other committee. Yeah.
So we try and keep a fairly lateral structure with our committee.
We had a meeting where all of us
Come together and we feel what are the main things that are really important.
And decided on what we are good at. Like the person who's good in finance took the treasury role.
We delegate those tasks and give them out to different people.
Discuss who's good at what part of the committee and
what do we feel needs someone to keep on top of and say, this needs to get done, can you please do this? That generally needs one person kind of in charge of that section in order to keep it all running smoothly.
The second crucial factor for training is making sure that your local committee communicates with each other. That means regular meetings, sometimes weekly, with separate meetings for the subcommittees. Have best practice guides that can be checked out through the web and in hard copy. Set up a website or blog in addition to listserv or mass email, where all members can receive or check on notifications and news. Also, have a forum or discussion group. Some use Facebook or Google Groups. It makes it easier for members to discuss amongst themselves. For new members, it is important not to squander the valuable resources that is their passion to make a difference. That means personal emails and one-on-one discussion, asking them about their interests and making sure that they're tasked on the right activity or subcommittee.
We have a weekly meeting, and at those meetings we'll talk to new members about WUSC to brief them on that, and then we'll talk about the things at hand, and then we send out
a weekly email as well, and where we have those notes as well as anything else that needs to be communicated.
we also have emails. We have a Facebook page.
Our Facebook page, a Facebook group where we
go on and get the updates for where our meetings are each week.
Post information about events or things that people need to know, and that can be used by the rest of the Laurier community, but that's definitely a way that we communicate with them. Yeah.
On my committee website, it's updated regularly. It lists all of our campaigns that we do, and it also tells us when they happened, and they often contain photographs too of the event, and it also contains all the people who are part of WUSC on there.
One of the most effective ways of training new volunteers is through shadowing.
Obviously, people graduate university, so to have people who are new members come in and shadow people who are experienced in that, so that
they're kind of learning through action. So I know, for instance, myself, last year I was in first year, and I was always open to doing things as long as I had someone else who knew what they were doing to do it with, and that's kind of how we tend to work.
They can learn really well how to do it, so they don't feel like they're a new member, they're really interested in a certain campaign, but they have absolutely no idea how to run it. So this way they get to watch and help as the process, evolves.
And of course there's a passing on of information at the end of the year to make sure that people who are taking on the more larger responsibility roles know how the system works.
What campaigns to run, and so they have an idea of what WUSC is, because if they didn't have that beforehand, then it's really hard to run WUSC.
And we definitely make sure that information is passed on.
So that they're not left in the dark by themselves, and we can continue the same things that we've been doing really well through those new members and through the shadowing process.
Another great way to train new volunteers is through workshops. To prepare for a workshop, it's always best to make an outline. The outline should state your objectives, why you're running the workshop, and what you hope the volunteers will learn from it. Then, break down each activity on the outline. If applicable, start a friendly icebreaker so that everyone gets to know each other. It's always best to make activities for the workshop. If it's fairly abstract or something you can't show hands-on in an hour, then PowerPoint presentations with colorful pictures can really bring your points home. It's good to put in a question or discussion period. Handouts are also helpful, if they're needed. It's always a good idea to run through the workshop once, to time how long presentations and activities are. Then you can put down the approximate times on your outline, and when you're doing the workshop, follow the time guidelines and watch to make sure you don't go over. Identify key times in the year when volunteers need training and make sure you plan training opportunities around that and general availability, so not during exam time.
And we kind of covered all the different main areas of WUSC, what we do as a local committee, specifically on Laurier, how our SRP program works, about WUSC, about what it is, about the SRP, and then
one of us from the older parts of the committee, they'll come in and they'll talk about what is to be done in the committee, what are their roles, what are they supposed to do, what we expect from them. So we just let them know what is going on, and then we always have the contact information out, so if they have anything that they want to ask us, they can always come to us, ask us whatever they need.
And then from there, it's less of a training and more of a sharing of ideas and making sure that they feel that they can be involved.
Identify and research key resources, such as people in your community and faculty staff, as well as organizations specializing in multiculturalism, refugees, and immigrants. Find out if these people and groups already offer or are willing to put together workshops for new volunteers.
Well, I think that local committees have different resources available to them depending on the community that they're in and the campus that they're at. But some common services that are available to local committees include the settlement services that are available in the community that help settle other privately sponsored refugees or government-assisted refugees. And you can partner with them and see if they'll be willing to come do a workshop with your local committee on how to properly support a newcomer to Canada. There are also on your campus international offices that do welcoming orientations for international students who have a very similar reality as sponsored students. So that's a good office to partner with on your campus. There are also professors on your campus that may come from the country of origin as our sponsored students, so that's a good resource to tap into also.
And don't forget to contact WUSC head office to ask for them to run workshops or to use WUSC online training.
Well, a lot of local committees don't know about the training opportunities that exist at WUSC. We start off the year with a leadership meeting in August that we hold in Ottawa that WUSC pays for to provide training for local committees on the student refugee program and on how to run your local committee. We also offer a national SRP training in November during the international forum that takes place every year, where we provide extra training, not just the regular basics of the SRP, but how to properly support your sponsored student when they arrive and throughout the year, and what are the tasks that are required of local committees, etc. And we have regional meetings, and we have regional liaison officers that are available throughout the school year to support local committees.
We've been a part of a workshop that was offered by WUSC Ottawa. They were doing some video conferencing about fair trade, so we thought that was really important. We're big on fair trade here, so we participated in that along with some other universities last year.
Once in a while we call in someone from the head office, like the Ontario liaison, that's Eve right now. We're gonna call him once so he can come in, give some extra training, like whatever we missed in our parts.
Another training resource that's available to local committees is the Refugee Sponsorship Training Program, whose role it is to train constituent groups and sponsorship agreement holders like WUSC in refugee sponsorship. So they have online trainings available twice a year, and they also have citywide meetings or training opportunities that local committees can participate in.
It was super beneficial because we got to talk and ask questions directly, so to people who were experts, who really knew what they were talking about. And we looked at videos and facts, and we got to interact with it.
Training new volunteers isn't just about sustaining the student refugee program, it's about channeling somebody's passion.
It's important to train volunteers so they have an idea of what WUSC is about, so they know certain campaigns and how they can evolve those campaigns. Like, they don't always have to do the ones we do every year, but they can expand on them, so they can really get a sense of how to help developing countries and understand those concepts.
It's important that everyone knows what to do, what to say, and what cause they are supporting when they're coming out and volunteering.